Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have a very distinguished gentleman here with me today, and we're going to have a great conversation. Everybody, happy Friday. I'd love to see you in the building, dropping comments and questions. We're going to take care of all of them. And I just want to give you guys a couple updates. First and foremost, I'm doing a youth and family conference with the Pride Empowerment Network team. That is going to take place on December 19th. And I've been thinking, I know that there are young people out there who can benefit from this conference. If you have a young person in your home, or you know of a young person who can benefit from a motivational experience during this holiday season, feel free to send me a direct message or send me an email on one of my pages. I've got a few of them. You got Cedric Riley, Cedric Speaks, Pride Empowerment Network, and America's Next Motivator. Any one of those pages will be a direct line to me and my team to get your young person in the building. Also, I have merchandise available. You check the hat. That's black vintage right there. You check the t-shirt. All right, so we're in the building. You guys need merchandise. I got other items coming soon. Send me a direct message. Get festive. Join the culture. And push the possibility frontier. Today, we are dealing with real, actual hip-hop. If you know somebody who is a fan or a student of hip-hop, within which is rap, then I want you to get that person in the building. Send out a text message. Do what you got to do to get more people in the building, because today is going to be a history lesson full of memories, connecting dots from groups that you love all the way up until today. Let's see where we are. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Dynamax Roberts. Give us 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, Dynamax Roberts, his computer screen is just kicking in. Let's see where he's at. What's going on, sir? Can you hear us? Hello? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen,
we should be coming on pretty soon. Yo.
Yep. What's going on, man?
I'm good. I'm happy, man. Thank you for having me on, Mr. Riley. Sure. Thank you for having me on. E360 TV. This is what it is, man. This is where the cool people hang out at.
That's what we do, man. Hey, you mean to tell me you went to Harlem and picked up a tracksuit before you came on today?
Oh man, you know how we gotta do it, man. We gotta keep it fresh. Gotta keep it fresh for my mans.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I got this. Yeah, picked it up a few weeks ago, but it's all good. We gotta be fresh for the show, right? Let's do it, man. What you got for me, man?
You look like an MC, not just a rapper. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, you're right. I'm an MC full fledged MC and a DJ, always on turntables, and full fledged, man.
Okay.
DJ MC.
Hey, hey, listen, man. Right at the top of the show, if you would like to do some sound effects, you can get busy for a few seconds. Let's go.
We got clearance rights.
Hey, let's rock and roll, man.
Whatever. You say so. That's what it is. What it is.
Give us 30 seconds and come back.
All right, a little bit of something right there.
Yeah, nice, nice.
I had my stuff queued up because I didn't know we want to go jiggity. It was all good.
Hey,
That's a new Buster, by the way.
a master,
Love it.
A master at his craft, always ready to rock and roll, man. I found that to be very cool. Now, talk to us. When did you get your start in music?
Oh man, I don't want to tell my age, man. You want me to tell my age, man? Come on, man. Well, I was like 12 and 13 when I started teaching myself how to DJ. 12 and 13 when I started DJing. A lot younger than that when I used to watch my older brother KJ get busy on turntables on the iron board, my grandmother's house, cutting up and scratching. And I picked it up. I couldn't help it, man. Growing up in the Bronx, man, crazy. Then I had a chance to live with my biological dad out in Chicago for a minute. Left New York and went to Chicago for a bit. And then I was out still DJing and still rapping, building DJ groups, building rap group, MC groups, hip hop groups, whatever you want to call it. And going to the hip hop concerts, Run DMC, different groups like that. And I was inspired from those guys to want to do it professionally, man. And I just stayed with the culture, period, man. And going back to New York at 18, and got a chance to get down with people like Cool DJ Herb, the father of hip hop. Shout out to him, Aunt Cindy, his sister, which is the mother of hip hop, and basically got a chance to watch them do it and learn from them, being under their wing and things like that, man. Just representing the culture. And they saw I was truly a b-boy, always with it, always there, always down, and they gave me a shot to be a part of their team. And music business things kicking afterwards.
Right. So you said that you got to perform with these founders of hip hop? And I want you to break that down. Like when you didn't just walk through the park with these guys, you actually got to perform with them. Your sound is going out.
I got a chance to do stuff. I mean, like local stuff.
Right.
Community. Yeah.
Right. Wow. So I know
a little bit here and there because it was like doing community things when I was really young. Got a chance to go like in Rikers Island in New York. Old manager. The sound's going okay. Was it talk louder or is it just going in and out? Period.
No, you're good now. You're good now. Can you talk to us about the origins?
Yeah. So I got.
Talk to us about the origins of hip hop. Where did it start? What happened? How did it become?
Tell me again. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Can you talk to us about the origins of hip hop?
Okay. The origins of hip hop, yeah, of course. Hip hop, hip hop was started in the Bronx.
Okay.
Yes, no problem, no problem, no problem. Hip hop was created in the Bronx by the first family who was considered to be cool, DJ Herc. His group was called the Herculoids. His MC is called Coke Rock. Kool Herc is the first DJ. His sound system was called the Herculoid, but the group in general was the Herculoids. So they used to do parties in the recreation room in the building that Kool Herc lived in. It was because of his sister Cindy wanted to do a back to school party. It was a concept and idea. She wanted to raise money to get school clothes to go back to school because she didn't want to wear hand-me-downs. So she wanted to get some fresh clothes. So it was about putting together a little party to make a little bit of money to go back, get some school clothes, go back to school. This became the party that they did in their building, the recreation room. Kids doing a party, right? And this caught on. And basically, everybody kept asking, when are you going to do this party? When are you going to keep doing another one? When are you going to do another? So they would start doing these recreation room parties. They was doing it in the parks. And then afterwards, of course, other DJs in the Bronx, it caught on like a wildfire. People would try time too, as well, in the early 70s. And Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bam, a lot of DJs that was spinning music at the time. You got the Twins, that was also dancers in the crew, and that was down with Kool Herc, Rocksteady Crew, New York City Breakers. You got hip hop breaks down into elements, just to break it, just to comprise all this information. Television, you got cable. However, television has different channels. Hip hop has elements. The MC element is the mic, the microphone element. This is the MC element. MC's on the mic. That's the MC element. Second element, you got the DJ element, the turntables, the cutting and the scratching. The DJ element. You got the art element, which is the aerosol writers. The commercial term people call the graffiti. I don't use that. Aerosol. They would consider B-boys and the B-girls were the dancers. I was doing that thing, pop blocking, dance or whatever, doing that stuff. The dance element. So, but above all is the knowledge. Knowledge. For me, personally, knowledge is the first element for me because without the knowledge, the body is just moving limbs, doing elements of hip hop culture, and afterwards, everything else becomes a business. Afterwards, the MC and the DJ combine to go in the studio to make a record, like the Go record you see in the back that comes from my family, and make hit records, etc. And then you got the DJ, the graffiti, the b-boys. They go off to do contracts, like the movie Beat Street or the movie Wild Style, where they got dancers got a chance to be in films. They do dance festival projects, dance classes. Now dancers make money. When I came up in this, dancers was you had to go on the street to dance on the sidewalk on a cardboard with a radio and with a boombox and dance on the train and get money. That was the only way you can get money back in the days as a dancer, as a b-boy or b-girl. On the West Coast, you had the Electric Boogaloos, and they started the whole pop locking thing. That's them. They started on the West Coast. New York was more about the floor, the breaking, the b-boying element. So that's just a salute to you. That's the information in general about the culture, that's how the culture itself breaks down and comprises into elements.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to the hip hop ambassador, and you come from a musical family. Can you talk to us about your family's involvement with music before you?
Yeah, my stepfather, biological father, was also a guitarist, so I got the music gene directly in the blood. My stepfather is a legendary songwriter. He wrote for the Moments. He wrote and composed music for the Moments, for the OJs with Sylvia Robinson, way before she went on later on to create the record company called Sugar Hill Records, which created Grandmaster Flash, the Sugar Hill Gang. A lot of you don't know who those groups are, but for the young generation. But if you go back and do your research, you'll see, these are the icons. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame only has maybe 7 to 8 groups, and one of those groups are Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And that was the group that was produced by Sylvia Robinson. However, my stepdad was writing for a lot of these groups. Like one of his tracks was called Not on the Outside, which was sang by a lot of people. Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations. However, that's the first generation, 1968. We got a label. I built a label off that called Robert's Family Hit 68 to brand the family's legacy. Thanks to Lionel Daniel and Biggs Radio, as you can see in the background, is a radio station I work for and work with. I have a show called Live from New York, which is iconic in the soul music. They handed me that as a lifetime achievement award for my my success and my father's stepfather's success in the music industry. So now the second part of that is people that used the music that my step pops made were hip hop artists, like Ghostface Killer from the Wu-Tang. Jill Scott sampled our music in a group called the Escorts. The song was called Look Over Your Shoulder. And Jill Scott sampled Look Over Your Shoulder for her song called Family Reunion. Jaheim took the melody for his song called 125th, for the song from Now on the Outside that Eddie Kendrick sang. So we get royalties from that. My sisters, shout out to Nancy and Lisa, my sisters, they get the royalty checks and for the family and whatnot. And as the artists keep on using the music and compilations keep coming out, that stays in our family forever, basically. So that's the pyramid, basically.
Right.
I'm actually wearing a pyramid here on my neck. You probably can't see it. It's kind of small, but there it is.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's the pyramid basically that my legacy was built on.
Okay.
So that was the blueprint. They gave me inspiration to do it.
Mm-hmm. What was it like? What was it like when you first started doing concerts and performances? What was it like? What did it look like? What did it sound like? What did it feel like? Can you paint that picture for us?
I did a talent show in elementary school. Graduating 8th grade, you did like talent show, and I was imitating Run DMC, Run DMC, and I was scared. I heard that. I was telling myself to do that because I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And when it came time for that day to happen, we had the turntables with everything set up. I had my dudes ready, and then I heard the crowd. The whole auditorium was full of people. My heart was like. I was like scared to death backstage, going like, "Okay, that's what you want. This is what you want to do. Okay, that's what you want to do. You gotta get the nerves together, get the butterflies out my stomach." And then once I got on stage, man, I felt like God, man, with the microphone in my hand, and I had the crowd, control the crowd, and it was over after that. This is what I wanted. Like this is where I belong. This is what I'm supposed to do. And whether I'm a DJ or an MC in front of a crowd, I love it. Touring around the world and just making records and having fun with music. And I don't do drugs. I don't get high. But I don't disrespect anyone else. Whatever people do is it's their business and will float your boat. But I don't condone and push that. I don't sell drugs to people, and I don't tell people go out and get high. I don't do that. I don't do any of that. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. As an adult, I might have a beer here and there. I might have a little beer here and there, but not heavy into alcohol and things like that. I don't. And when it's time to work, I don't do anything like that. Period. Just to throw that out as a sidebar.
Sure. Did you feel that certain crews, certain representatives in early hip hop were also trying to be positive role models in some aspects?
They were. They were. Run DMC they were big role models. They was always don't be a fool, stay in school, stuff like that. And to some people, it's corny. Like that's not corny, man. Shout out to Donald D, my big brother from Ice-T Rhyme Syndicate. I'm also part of Rhyme Syndicate's family. Ice-T's group Rhyme Syndicate. For those who know Ice-T from Law and Order, some of them know him from gangster rap and all that kind of stuff on the West Coast. He had a big group called Rhyme Syndicate. I'm the baby in that family as well. And that's something that's from the West Coast, East Coast and West Coast. And I met Donald when I was like a young kid, like 16, went to the concert, and Rakim and all those guys were performing, Biz Markie, and they were like, come to the hotel, we hanging out. No disrespect, I'm not gay, but I respect the gay crowd. I'm totally cool with that. We're talking 1987 here, man. And it was like, come to the hotel to hang out with them. We're playing video games. They go, yo, let's kick some rhymes, man. So we were freestyling and having a good time with them. And it was always the same message, man. Like, yo, y'all got to finish school, man. And, if the music doesn't work out, you need something to fall back on. And I was like, wow, and, that was always one to grow on, So when I was pretty much finished with school, man, I, stayed with the music, period. I was just riding the music. And I got a chance to go to Europe and things like that. Some years later, I got a chance to meet Donald D again throughout time. We got a chance to keep meeting throughout time. And then eventually he moved to Italy. I was in France. And we started talking. I did a concert out in Italy, and he came, performed on the same bill. And he's like, doing his sound check. I'm doing my sound check. And we was both freestyling together. He said, yo, why don't we just do the show together? I'm like, word? For real? Because I'm like, I'm like, it's one of my heroes. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm like, yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. At a drop of a hat, you always got to be ready. So had a DJ I brought with me, another DJ I brought with me, and we ended up doing the whole show together, going back and forth, rocking the crowd. And I was like, it's funny because I had seen this dude like 17 years ago. I was a fan watching this guy on stage, and now I'm here with, one of my heroes. So that's funny how life works, how life turns around in a cycle with this culture. If you're true to your element, true to what you do, and you keep it real, keep it 100, keep it 1,000, man. And your dream will come true if you stay real with it. Stay with it. There's no way you can't fail if you don't stay with it. If you don't follow up on it. Learn the business. That's what I tell people. Learn the music business. It's 10% artistic, 90% business. That's a lawyer advice I'm giving you. People pay money, the lawyers, for this. I'll give it to people for free as the
What is
ambassador.
what is what is the music business? What is it from a business standpoint that we need to know? We got a lot of young rappers out there. Shout out to Young DeVito, other young rappers out here. They want to
Yeah.
make it big in the industry. We have an
You know,
opportunity to talk to somebody right now about the insides of the industry. What is the business aspect that we need to know about and understand?
the business aspect is knowing your rights, what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. You have to know. It's like you go in the studio to record a record with an artist, and whether it's a featuring with another artist or you go in the studio to record with a record company. If you're going to the studio to record with a record company, then you need to know that you're entitled to getting paid for your session. You get a session fee. Just like working at McDonald's, you get paid for working at McDonald's. Just you working, right? Get paid session fee. So they got to write you. They got to pay you for the session fee. If you're talking about making a song or record with them, then you have to discuss all. You have to get the contract, work on a contract with them about what you want, like points, percentages. If you want an advance on the record, you're entitled to an advance. Because off each record, a dollar off each record. It's like, what are you going to get out of off a dollar off each record? Are you getting nothing? Are you getting 5%? You getting 10%? What are you getting off a dollar? And if you're like if you don't know your business, it's not the music industry's fault that you don't know your business. No more than you're not knowing how to cross the street at a light. If you don't
Right.
know that you're not supposed to cross on a green light or red light, then you're gonna cross on the green light and get hit by a car because you didn't know. So that's kind of like with the music business. If you don't know the things that you're supposed to do in this, then everybody's gonna run away with your rights, run away with your music, run away with your money. Because royalties are publishing, and I said all that about the royalties and stuff, but the publishing is where at the end of the day it's about the publishing, man. It's all about the publishing. And the publishing is as soon as you go on the record, you own the right to that. You own the publishing on that, the copyright on that. It's up to you to copyright it. It's up to you to get that published under your name. If you don't, someone else will claim your rights. Someone else will collect your royalty check.
So
That's the
how do
credit.
you how do you claim your rights? How do you do it correctly?
You have to be there are societies you have to be registered with. And when you can do their copyright, Washington D.C. copyright. You also have for the publishing, you have to go through BMI or ASCAP. It's only the two for people in the United States. If you're in France or Europe, you can go through different companies. And in the United Kingdom, you got PRS. And if you're in France, you got SACEM, which is SACAM, SACEM. Americans, we go through BMI, ASCAP in general, except for if it's Americans that's doing business overseas. And if you're based overseas and you're doing a project over there, then you can be registered with SACEM. But you can only be registered with one society at a time.
So an upcoming artist that's actually serious about succeeding in music needs to be affiliated with one of those organizations
One of those societies.
from the very beginning.
To be registered. You need to get your music, get your stuff set up. I mean, in 1994, I mean, my first record. Normally, when you're putting a record out, even if you're independently putting a record out on iTunes or whatever, you're at home, got your own little label, and you're putting stuff out. It's good to get it, but you can get your stuff registered regardless if the music comes out or not. Get it put up, set it up where you get your music set up with them, so you can have the rights to your things, man. And if you don't, if it comes out, then you don't have it took care of, to have your business took care of. Someone else is going to take care of that business for you, and that's
Now,
not a good look.
in
It's
the
not a good
very in the very beginning, was the music ahead of the business? And what I mean by that is when they did that first house party, there was no big business aspect to it besides the woman was trying to get supplies for her children. And it sounds like it caught on like wildfire. So in the beginning, you had a lot of hip hop happening, but the business aspect wasn't totally structured out yet. Is that correct?
Well, let me go back to you on that. Because Cindy, no, Cindy was young. She was a young girl, a teenager. She was a young girl, and she wanted to get school clothes to go back to school. She wanted to get money to get for school clothes to go back to school. So she came up with an idea of doing a back to school party. Back to school party.
Mhm.
Get your girlfriends, get the homeboys to come to the party, get your friends to come through, get your homies to come through, your chromies, whatever, and they can pay maybe $1 or something like that, or 50 cents, whatever it was they charged to get $1.25, whatever, to go to the party, or the girls can get in free and whatever. So organize it. They made a little money off that. The concept was she felt like in order to keep people in this party, you need to have certain items. So sometimes there was like, the older crowd was there, or some of the adults were there. So she asked her father about how to go about trying to get the items she needed, and it was like, well, they want to get beer, get beer, but she can't get beer. She was a kid, so she went to her father, and her father said, "We can get stuff on a wholesale." So they went and got beer, they went and got hot dogs, so people wouldn't leave to go get food and then go home. They went and got hot food and things like that, so people can eat, drinks, pop, soda, whatever. So however you want to call it, based on wherever you're in America. New
Okay.
York, we call it soda. West Coast,
Right.
Midwest, they call it pop. So they had to go and get your refreshments that they can sell people, and that can take people in the party for a longer time. Afterwards, with this money, she was able to get school clothes, whatever. But what happened was, out of this concept of making money from a back to school party, people were like, "Yo, when are you gonna do another one of these parties? When's the next one?" Young kids were like, "When's the next one?" So they were like, "Oh, we got to do more of these." That turned into the hip hop parties, the hip hop clubs, something that happened in the recreation room turned into a multi-billion-dollar business, and they went from the recreational room to the parks, and from the park jams, the rest is history, man. Sylvia Robinson, Sugar Hill Records, record companies got involved. Other labels started putting out rap because rap, hip hop was starting to become popular, and everybody wanted a piece of it. This is something that the young kids were doing. So, and everybody was highly interested in. So it caught on like wildfire. There was money to be made. This is something that the youth was working on. Message to the youth. It's like, you guys are working on, you guys are very creative. When you're young, you're always creative and you're coming up with different ideas and concepts of things in this ways, but you have to pattern it. Put a pattern on it. Put it, someone else won't take it and say, well, I started it or I created it. And it's a big war going on. Who started it first?
Right.
You got the copyright on it. You ain't got to worry about that.
Right. Wow. Was there a name for hip hop in the beginning? Was it called hip hop, or
Yeah.
did it have another name?
We had the They didn't have a name for us, man. They was just doing parties or whatever. And hip hop. To be honest with you, to quote Remix or DXT, one of the founding fathers of hip hop, the first turntablist and Rock and Roll Walk of Fame. He was on my radio show about 3 weeks ago. He let us know in his interview that hip hop was a derogatory statement made against us young people that were doing this culture at that time. People, a lot of the young folk, older people were saying that's that. Yo, get out of here with that hippity hop crap. Get
Right.
out of here with that hippity hop jump. You walk into the club, you have sneakers on. They're like, yo, man, beat it. You'll beat it, man, with all that hippity hop stuff.
Right.
So hippity hop. It was dissing it. It was a straight disrespect. Just like calling aerosol writers graffiti writers. Yo, you a graffiti writer. Graffiti was the vandalism. People they wrote anything on a building or whatever. That was vandalism. That was graffiti. That's why when you see pieces like masterpieces, nice aerosol piece put up, the writers made that. This aerosol writers made that, and in the newspapers they would write vandalism, graffiti by scoundrels and hoodlums and things like that. Graffiti and hip hop were derogatory words used against the culture. They didn't know what to call this music in general. The Rappers Delight, Sylvia Robinson didn't know what to call it either. So when they made Sugar Hill Gang made a record called Rappers Delight, in the parks in the Bronx, they was called MCs and DJs and whatnot. Everyone had their titles of what they were doing in their element, but it wasn't officially organized as a culture. That came later. Organized as a culture came later. Every individual part of hip hop was its own culture. DJ culture, art culture, dance culture. And the pioneers, I believe amongst themselves they got together and pretty much organized it into a culture. They did. They actually organized it into a culture. And the phrase, that hip hop thing, even a few artists had it in their lyrics. A couple of artists had it in their lyrics. They used to say hip hop, don't stop, bebop, you don't and they, some of the pioneers thought that was cool and ran with it. Like, yo, let's just call it hip hop, and that's what it is. People supported it, and then it became that. Yo, it's hip hop.
That's a fact.
It could have been called something else, but the pioneers got together and they thought that this was the appropriate term for the culture, man. And what they were doing, the street culture. It was a street culture, all of it street culture. What else do you call spray painting on trains and dancing on the sidewalk and stealing electricity from the city to plug your turntables in the park? Rapping in the park with electricity you got from the city. All of it, the whole entire culture was illegal.
Wow.
It's a bootleg culture, man. But it became something that was nothing. Like Ice-T made a documentary called From Nothing to Something. Something came nothing. It's like that's what it is. It was from nothing came something, man. And
absolutely.
It has multiple different. Everyone has a different story about how they saw hip hop growing up. Just like when everyone sees the same movie, they all come out with their opinion on it. But I give you the opinion of many. That's why the pioneers gave me the title ambassador. I understood what they were all talking about. And I said, I'll just put it together and I'll bring it to the people, to the next generation, and then the next generation. And bring it forward.
You put that very masterfully when you described how these individuals who were creating hip hop were making something out of nothing. They were literally manifesting what would become one of the greatest influence that humanity has known in the past 200-300 years. And so in the process of doing that, they were doing things that no one had ever seen before. And what was once illegal became very much legal as we look at rap, hip hop, and how alive it is today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Dynamax Robert. This man is the ambassador of hip hop today. We're going to talk more with him about his journey right after this brief message. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, before we went to the break, we were talking about the emergence of hip hop and how it started off as something that nobody really understood. But we understand today We have 440,000 youth in the foster care system. Young people clear across the world can be seen walking down the sidewalk, rapping, singing along to hip hop records, old school and new school. I met a young man who was about 14 years old a couple months ago, and the music that he liked to listen to was KRS-One. It was all old school hip hop. So I mean, don't think for 1 minute that the young kids aren't still listening to the original era of hip hop. Now, what I like about what you're doing, Dynamax, as the ambassador of hip hop is you are bringing the history. You're bringing the history so that a modern day artist and a modern day young person can understand rap and hip hop is not something that was always intended to be bad or to have a bad impact on the community. It's not all about perpetuating violence or perpetuating a misogyny. There are elements. There is structure. Hip hop is like a house, and we got to keep that house clean. And that house has a job to do, which is to motivate, inspire, and amplify the people. Now, I'd like for you to reinforce that.
Man, you just said it. Come on, Cedric Riley, Mr. Cedric Riley. You just put the hammer on the nail, man. That's everything in a nutshell. That's my lifetime's work you just put out there, man. That's it. Wow. It's about self-empowerment. Self-empowerment. Self-made artists, but nobody's really truly self-made. Everybody gets help. That's like my message of today, honestly. I was in a conversation with brother Geechee Dan, who's another architect to hip-hop. I call him the Jedi archive keeper, because he has like over 500 tapes of the original cassettes with the MCs back in the days, man, from Queens, New York, man. And it's like, I was like, wow, over 500 tapes. Like before we were doing 12 inches and albums, we were doing cassettes. Like artists would be on shows performing. Somebody would make tapes, record those tapes, and those tapes would circulate throughout New York City. That's how hip hop was distributed, because there wasn't no internet, no digital. There was none of that. Cassettes. And a lot of that stuff, music, those shows are still on tapes. And somebody needs to take that and clean those tapes up or get them and sell them and put them in digital format so that y'all can hear them. Like, amazing, It's a grassroots movement by all means necessary. And taking responsibility for the culture of hip hop is something I've always done. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We always took credit for Michael Jackson, but we don't take credit for the crackhead on the corner, the brother that went wrong, or the sister that went wrong. It's like, no, man, stop it, And I'm talking to everybody, whether you're black, white, Asian, Chinese, green, purple, turquoise, whatever your race or color is. It's like, we love to take credit for the Rolling Stones. We take credit for 2 Chainz and Drake and everybody else, man. But we don't like taking credit for when my man started smoking. Your dude over here started shooting up, or so-and-so fell off. I ain't trying to get close to him. Like, no, man. We got to pick people up. The ones that fell off, try to pick them up. Because some people are lucky if they clean themselves up and then get back on. And then they're like, yo, I fell off. And when that happened, everybody just left on me. Everybody bounced. I'm on my own. And some people don't make it back, commit suicide. And they, or they overdose. And you're like, wow. Only if somebody people weren't riding with you because you were successful, but riding with you, period. And when you became unsuccessful, infamous or whatever, they came back to get you and bring you back, to put you back on top. Rather than kicking you down now that you ain't on no more. Or I can't wait to get in your chair. I can't wait to take your seat. Musical chairs, you ain't got a seat. It's mine now, dog. The record back on, man. Put the record back on. All right.
Hey.
I'm saying so.
Hey, you said musical.
I know I'm animated, but I'm sorry. That's the New York in me, man. I just love that. Love that fun, man. Love the joke.
I respect it, and I like it. Now let's do some knowledge. Hip hop, rap has been used as a form of ascension for people.
Just hip
hop, the house of hip hop with rap inside of it has been used by people to elevate their lives. You could go from the streets to inside of skyscrapers to inside of airplanes to totally different continents, all through music. And so let's do some knowledge. Let's do some knowledge and help people to understand some fundamentals when it comes to songwriting, because you still got a lot of young people out there today who want to be rappers, who want to be members of the hip hop community. And I would like to get them some knowledge today to make sure that they're solid. So can you talk to us about bars, hooks, measures? How do you put together a song?
Song structure, hip hop strong structure. Excuse me. Sorry, hip hop song structure is usually 16 bars is the verse, and then you got 8 bars is the chorus. And you can, some people switch it around, change it around. I am a real freestyle artist, so I like to do what I like to do, which is just be me and do what I want to do. You know, so, I mean, when you go back and listen to some of the artists that inspired me, they call Rakim the God MC in hip hop. And he wrote a song called Paid in Full. It's one verse. One verse. Thinking of a master plan. The song starts off with that. It's one verse. Right. It's a dangerous verse. Right? As the rhyme flows on, one verse. And it's like, that one song is a verse. Yeah, and they had a remix to it and everything with cut, scratch, and breaks and everything in it. And some people just song without a hook, and then sometimes you got a song with a hook. That's what I love about hip hop culture. You're spontaneous and be creative. You don't always have to follow what the so-called rules are. Big shout out to Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin. Before their time, I mean, most rap records were like 10 minutes, 12 minutes long. And then when they came out with running them, it was like, they started to dumb it down a little bit to like 2 minutes and 45 seconds to 3 minutes and serious radio format. Even though those songs were 12 minutes were on the radio. Now, music is like, the songs are shorter. They made music videos. Videos came along and became relevant. It's important to write, when you structure, so like I say, structuring a song, normally you got 16 bars and then you got 8 bars on the hook. You could do 4 bars and then you got the verse, and then you could do 4 bars chorus, and then that's one length basically for the chorus. 16 bars, always on the verses, and then you could do the chorus comes back in at 16. You do another. The chorus comes back in at 8. Go back to another 16 for the second verse, which is your man's rhyming or somebody else's rhyming. And then you go back to the 8 bars again for the chorus. And then usually the song fades out from there. Unless if there's a bunch of y'all on, like, let's say Wu-Tang Clan. There's a bunch of dudes on the record. So y'all chopping up 6 bars, 7, 8 bars, 6 bars, 4 cats just coming in and out on the record. That's why I understood why they had so many artists. When they made certain records, everybody couldn't fit on the record. So they had different songs where certain artists shine more than others. So sometimes certain artists wasn't even on the record. And you're like, I think about it going like, it makes sense, because how long would a record would have been if they would have had every single member on the record? Still gotta put the record on the radio, still gotta do a video for it. So sometimes there's compromises when you got really big groups like that, but that you have to be a family about it and not just be on a greedy tip, like, if I can't get 16, I try to let people work it out. But that's how you chop it up when it's about strong song structure.
Okay.
And once again, got to do that publishing thing, got to do royalty, got to get that business straight. Absolutely. Forget about it. It's gonna be problems later on when those records become hit records, and what somebody's getting paid more than someone else, or someone else not getting paid on the record. Am I not getting a royalty check? I'm on the record like, yo, you didn't get nothing when it was time to do it. So we just, nah, man, that ain't right. And then you got beef between the group, and then they're fighting. People are fighting over publishing. You heard it before. It's nothing new.
I've heard it.
What happened to these groups? And if it's not that, it's if the record's not selling the way the record companies want them to sell, then the groups, sometimes the labels drop the groups. And you're like, what happened to this group? What happened to that group? The business. If you don't manage to keep your business up or stay on the label, if you don't want a label that's treating you right, break the contract. The record company contract.
Right.
Of course, you had to, man. If the record company doesn't respect your contract, then you got to make sure your lawyer gets you out of that contract. Because sometimes people get locked in these 10-year deals, and you're like, I just lost 10 years, man. I'm in this contract, can't get out. So you got to make sure you read the fine print. Your lawyer team, your management lawyer team is like on point to make sure you get to be. You got to make sure you're comfortable. That contract is your new house.
Right. Wow. Who would you say? Who would you say is the freestyle king? Who would you say is the freestyle king? I'm picking his brain, y'all.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Who would you say? Who would you say is the freestyle king?
So,
huh?
The only person in the coach I know to have the actual title is Supernatural. Supernat was always titled the crown. He was always crowned. Wow. Supernat was always crowned as king of freestyle.
Wow. Okay. And for those people that don't know, freestyling means freestyle. Give us, you know what? Give us the actual definition.
Supernat.
Freestyling different things to different people. What does it mean to you?
Is that sound picking up or what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Supernat, the rapper, Supernat. See.
Okay, I heard you. I'm asking you about
from India.
Okay. What is the definition of a freestyle?
Yeah.
What is a freestyle?
Freestyle is when you come off the top of the head and you just start. Yeah, I can hear you really clear. We got signal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, ladies and
freestyling is basically freestyling is when you do it.
My personal
style is free. It's a self-explanatory.
That's a fact.
Self-explanatory definition on that. Means you're doing it off the top of the head, off the top of the dome. Yeah, brainstorming. Just spit it out. It's not written.
That's one of my favorite aspects of rap. Listen, I'm getting ready to play one of Dynamax's videos. Ladies and gentlemen, this is some classic boom bap that we're getting ready to play for the people. Sticking true to the roots. So y'all sit back and check it out. Let's see what we got here. Hey, you rocking the house. So that's you DJing, right? Say he rock
DJing and MCing my set.
Hold on, I got another video. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that was in France, man. That was like 2,000 people in a town called Clermont-Ferrand. Oh yeah, that's a classic.
2 MCs, Dynamax in the Bronx Batch, Donald D. All 3-5, playing on tricks. We go on down the all the Z-U-L-U keys, and you know we stand supreme. No hip-hop will always be, mad respect to the Zulu queens. The crowd singing out loud, we down with the funk and we get buck wild. We all the Z-U-L-U keys, and you the block to look up to you. Back in 83 and 2, we did girls when the super rock house show played on the radio, man. With Chuck Chill Out and Red Alert on Kiss FM. And as we turn the page back to 1988 and 9, you would see a lot of hits from Ice-T and Ron Syndicate. Donald J. Sniper, always a part of it. Just when we thought you couldn't get more fly, it is support with the title FBI. I was so amped up, you might say exuberated. Your words to my ears were so elevating. Now we got fixed, wanna be some bullshit. Man, it's the return of the culture. That's why this ain't a job career, it's my religion. And I will keep it rocking until my heart gets it. We are the ZULUKs, and you know we stand supreme.
Yeah, that was classic, man. We did that in Paris. That was the funnest adventure. The French crew did that video. Donald D flew in from Italy. We went. It was crazy. That we had a whole production team with us on that, man. It was nice. Just like I said, like you said from day one, represent hip hop since the ground zero of the culture. We take it back to the essence. That's the Bronx Syndicate. It's a group me and Donald D have, as we are a spinoff group inside of the Rhyme Syndicate that Ice-T created. Like I said, shout out to Don, Africa Islam, Ice. That's what we do, man. We bridge the gap. The young generation, the old generation combined. And I love doing stuff with the elders, man, with the other pioneers. I love that. It's a father-son relationship or a mother-daughter relationship, or a mother-son relationship, however you want to put it.
Mm-hmm. Do you plan on doing any events with the younger generations of artists, or are you already doing events?
Doing stuff with the youth, man. That's also another thing. I didn't mention that, but yeah, I mean that's me personally doing stuff with pioneers. But I always collaborate with the underground. It's usually how it normally goes with me is the pioneers, the mainstream in the middle, and then we also have the underground, and we try to merge off. Those are all three. Myself and my partner Don, we always try to merge all three. Past, present, future. Can't survive without doing that, man. We can't. So I got nothing but love for the millennials out there doing their thing. Come on, we need y'all, man. Without y'all, this is dead. Hip hop is dead. That title of an album came out a long time ago. Hip hop is dead. Well, that would be an actual fact. Without the youth, we're dead. We're done. We're done. It's over. Game over. And don't sleep on the international market, because people are watching you all over. Everything we do in America, people all over the world are watching what we're doing. And either they're inspired for what we do here, or we watch something that they do online or whatever. Sometimes we don't even think about what's happening on the outside, and then you go overseas and you find out that people are like, yo, man, I know who you are, man. You're like, what? Serious? Like, yeah, millions and millions of people around the world following our culture. And it's like important. It's not just, we're not alone. We're not alone.
Wow. So you mean to tell me that people are tuned in with the hip hop movement in other countries? Well, what about a place like Africa?
Seriously, and so especially the motherland Africa. I'm the one that went to Africa. I'm the first African American artist to travel 13 countries in Africa, and that was with the U.S. Embassy. Unfortunately, in the Bush administration, but fortunately, in the Barack Obama administration, I had a chance to do within 6 years. 13 countries out there, and it was beautiful. I was always collaborating in my show. I always brought underground artists. There's some stuff on YouTube. I'll send you some links later. With for artists from Africa, always at every show, always have the underground artists open up my show. Always perform and open up before I do my thing. I'm the main act, and I would bring on underground artists everywhere. From Mauritania, Nigeria. I was in Lagos, Abuja, in Nigeria. Let's get down to business, right? I was in Niamey, which is in Niger. We say Niger, but it's Niger because they speak French. I was in Mauritania, Nouakchott, Nouadhibou, in Mauritania. I've been to, I was in Senegal. I did Dakar, Peking, and Ziguinchor. So 3 cities in Senegal that I performed and did concerts out there. I was in Brazzaville, Congo. I was in Lusaka, Zambia. Where else? Man, oh my God. Kenya. I was in Kisumu, Nairobi. Those 2 cities in Kenya. The first place I went to was Luanda, which is in Angola. Shout out to my big brother, musical brother, Lord Jazz, Lord's the Underground. They were the first hip hop group to ever go to Luanda, and I went after them, and I went out there. So crazy, Luanda's hardcore, man. Wow. Whatever ghetto we think we have in America is soft compared to Africa, man. There's super sub levels of ghettos that we never knew that could even exist, of poverty. There's levels of poverty we never knew existed that makes any place in the ghetto in America look like Palm Springs, South Central, the South Bronx, I don't care, Compton, whatever, wherever we consider a hood. When you go out to Africa, dog, there's places that literally don't even have a roof. The people are living in the house. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, dirt houses. Houses made out of dirt. Literally made out of dirt. Like a mud house.
Right. You know what?
Like, it's not like that everywhere. It's poor. And then there's places that got money.
There's
places that got money that are nice. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hip hop.
But the music out there, oh man, the music is incredible.
Hip hop has and always has had the propensity to grow and change the world. That's the legacy that you're pushing forward today. And I embrace you for that. I want to let you know that I've listened to your story today. I continue to be inspired by your experiences and your willingness to keep it jazzy, keep it hip hop while telling your stories. And I want to put some respect on your legacy while you can acknowledge it. I also would like to give you a crown while you're still living. I want to let you know, let the world know, Dynamax Roberts, you are America's next motivator.
Thank you, brother. I love you, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Always love. Thank you for coming by, all right?
Thank you for having me, man. E360 TV, man. You guys are the bomb. Mr. and Doctor of the culture. Now, I'm calling you doctor. Giving you your hip-hop doctorate, man.
Wow.
Thank you, man. Peace and blessings.
Thanks for the knowledge. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do, just like you did today, is stop by and pick it up.